Hello, second grade, or anybody that wants to check this out. The second grade is reading about the Roosevelts this week, so I wanted to check out something that has been attributed as starting with Theodore Roosevelt, the National Park Service. So we're going to start in Washington, D.C., at the headquarters of the National Park Service. So what is the National Park Service? Well, when Theodore Roosevelt was president of the United States, he thought it was really important for us to work to preserve natural places in the United States that are beautiful and amazing, and also historical places. And he, with different steps, developed this organization to do that, to protect those places. Before we start on our virtual field trip, we're going to go to where we should always start our field trips, at Robert Menendez Elementary School. There we are. Wave hello. All right, let's go to the next stop. Not far away from our school is the first place I wanted to check out. This place is in Manhattan, and it is the birthplace of Theodore Roosevelt. So President Roosevelt was governor of New York. I'm so nervous. I have to start again. Wait, can I do it with one video? Let's do this. That looks pretty cool. Hello, second grade, or anybody who wants to watch. I wanted to make a video of this Google Earth app so that you can see a few stops on this virtual field trip that I made about the National Park Service. The National Park Service was set up by Theodore Roosevelt, or initiated by Theodore Roosevelt, and its job is to protect different historical or naturally beautiful places in the United States. This is the headquarters in Washington, D.C. Pretty big building. So before we get on our real field trip, I want to go to where we should start every field trip, at PS number 3. Here we are. I miss you. So now we're going to leave school, and our first stop is right in Manhattan, at the place where Theodore Roosevelt was born. This is a replica of the building where he was born, because the building where he was born was knocked down, and then people immediately regretted it. So within a few years of it being knocked down, they rebuilt it according to witness information, like people who had been in the house, and photographs. So there it is. And on this side of the real Google Earth app, there's links for you to go to the National Park Service websites for all of these locations. So you can see that this website is still active even though the location is closed. A lot of them are closed because of the coronavirus. But you can take a virtual tour. I'm not going to walk you through all the stuff on every website, but I am going to show you a little bit of this one. So the way this works is you can control how you're looking at the rooms in the house. They pretty much look exactly the way that they did when he lived there, even though the building isn't the same building. Um, a lot of people who have seen Theodore Roosevelt in the library before have asked, how come he was a hunter, but then he also loved nature? And at that time, the world was different and technology was different, and people weren't able to see things like a lion or a hippo. So, having something like the lion that was just on screen would make it so that people who maybe couldn't go to a zoo or lived somewhere far away were able to see something like that. So by moving through the different displays and then moving around within the screen, you can look around his house. Some pictures, and you can scroll through them. He was one of the most beloved presidents. And then this is a YouTube video that is led by a park ranger who works at the birthplace every day. And he talks a lot about what Theodore Roosevelt was like and what his house was like. We are moving ahead, and we're going to go far, far away. This is a location that actually has a bunch of different locations connected to it. This is the Crossroads of the American Revolution National Heritage Area. A lot of words to say. Basically what that is it's a headquarters for a bunch of different sites that are connected to each other, and they're all connected because they were very important during the American Revolution. So during the war in which we, as a country, battled Britain and won our independence. Again, I have linked the National Park Service website for this location. I have a few pictures so that you can see. And you can come back to, these are the sites that are connected to the crossroads of the American Revolution. So you can come back and look at all that material whenever you want. Let's move on. Morristown National Historic Park is the location in which Washington and his troops camped during the winter of 1779. And at the beginning of their encampment, they led a Christmas attack on some soldiers who were fighting for England, who were the enemy. So they surprised them on Christmas because people are like, nobody's going to, attack on a holiday. So the guys weren't paying attention, and George Washington took advantage of that, like very creative way of dealing with it. So we have pictures here of this teddy bear. And it was one of the coldest winters in recorded history. So the men were really, really freezing and uncomfortable, and it was a trial. And here is the link for the National Park Service. The next National Park Service site is maybe one of the most beautiful ones on the list. It is the Paterson Great Falls National Historical Park. This is a gigantic waterfall in Paterson, New Jersey. So Paterson's a city. There shouldn't be a huge, beautiful waterfall in the city, but there is. And it used to be a hub of industry. A hub is like the center point. An industry is like factories and businesses and stuff like that were making things, and they were using the falls to power their factories. Here's the link, and you can look through that. There's a YouTube video here too. Ellis Island Museum of Immigration is right near the Statue of Liberty, and you can take one boat and hit both locations at the same time. And this one is, again, part of the National Park Service. So Ellis Island is an island with a set of buildings that served as a location for all immigrants coming into the United States through New York to come in and be registered when they entered the United States. So now it's a museum, and That's how it used to look. It closed down in 1954. So, like a lot of our families came after 1954, my dad didn't go through Ellis Island. But we have gone to the Museum of Ellis Island to learn about immigration and the way it affected the 18 and 1900s in our country. This video was made by a girl, a grade school girl, and she, I guess, wants to be a park ranger. So she lists a bunch of facts about Ellis Island, but she's doing it for parks, national parks all over the United States. I thought that was super cool. We are moving on to Thomas Edison's house, and this is going to be our last stop for our virtual field trip. Thomas Edison from New Jersey. This was his house. And when you go to this location, you can see his house and his laboratories as well. So that's what his house used to look like. There he is in a lab, and you can go into the labs. This is the complex. So in this building, things were manufactured, things were tested, things were drawn up and planned. His labs. And then the link again for the National Parks website to go with this location. So I hope you enjoy if you get to go into this more. And maybe when all this is over and we're allowed to go outside and enjoy these beautiful locations of the National Park Service, you will go and visit one and tell me all about it.